Hi, my name is Anna and I am here today to tell you about my No Pan Left Behind project that I'm doing this year and that I also did last year. So I'm gonna start off with just telling you a little bit about it, how I did it last year, and then I will tell you about how I'm doing so far in 2024 and a little bit about, because this is going to be a monthly update type of thing. So I'm gonna tell you how far I've come and then plans for the rest of the year. So the No Pan Left Behind project is something that I was inspired by Laura to do. I will have her link down below. So I was watching her videos and I thought to myself, I'm definitely not using all of my eyeshadows. I have certain eyeshadows that I use quite a lot, and then I have a lot of eyeshadows that I just completely forget about. And especially the eyeshadow colors that I'm not like super drawn to, especially matte yellows. They are kind of my hate color. So I really wanted to push myself and get use of my entire eyeshadow collection, because it's just stupid having all of these eyeshadows without using all of them. So I decided that I wanted to join and then try it for myself. So I decided this on August 27th. And that meant I only had 4 months and like 7-8 days left of the year to use all of my eyeshadows at least once. I didn't know if I was going to make it, but I actually did. I finished the last couple of eyeshadows that I hadn't used yet on December 31st. I will pop up a look of that one, because that was a like true silver Colourpop eyeshadow that I'm not really a big fan of silver eyeshadow, but I topped it up with some glitter and I just made it look the way I wanted it to, and it fit really nicely with my dress. And it just shows that the eyeshadows that I'm kind of not normally drawn to, I can always find a way to make them work, and it just needs a little more creativity. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. The end of the day, end of the year, kind of. Okay, so I had 4 months and 8 days, so I'm going to show you my spreadsheet that I used to track all of this, because what Laura does is something that I wanted to do the same thing, because I love she has her palettes and then she crosses them off and has like colors. It's color coordinated, which month she pans, stuff like that. I love the visuals, but I thought it would probably take me too long. I would forget to do it. Like, yeah, I needed a different system. So what I ended up with is this spreadsheet right here. This is a list of all of my eyeshadows sorted by palette, and then I have the months. So this is last year, so I only have August through to December. And I have all of the color coded, like August is yellow, December is red. And then I just put in a little emoji for every time I use an eyeshadow. And that means I can easily count up how many eyeshadows I used in 1 month, how many did I use in total. Like, I have full control over all of that. So a green background on the eyeshadow palettes means that I used every single eyeshadow at least once. And I have all of my eyeshadow palettes. Like, these were the ones that I had in 2023. And it's really interesting to see which eyeshadow palettes has a lot of yellow, some has a lot of blue, and some are mainly red. So that usually means that I waited to use them for some reason, maybe because I don't really like feel like using them, or it's just eyeshadows that I forget about or something like that, and not that excited to use. And then some of them I was also kind of saving for Christmas, and I had a whole plan of which eyeshadows I wanted to use on all of the days, like weeks ahead. It was kind of like, because I really wanted to be able to do this, it got a little bit crazy with the planning. So I would have a list, and then I would have like all of the days in the week, and then which eyeshadows I needed to use in order to reach my No Pan Left Behind goal. So by the end of this, on the bottom here soon, here it is. So in December I had used 336 eyeshadows out of 336 eyeshadows, which is 100%. So in October I was past my 50% goal, which meant I only had 2 months to use a lot of eyeshadows. So that is why it got a little bit crazy. So this year, let me just show you the spreadsheet for this year. This year I have an entire year to do it, but I'm also doing my 24 eyeshadow pans in 2024. So that means there are several eyeshadows in here that I need to use a lot more than once. So my goal for the year is to use every single eyeshadow once, and then all of the 24 that I want to hit pan on, I will use those a lot more. So far, this is what I have. I've been using, I have 2 of the Hourglass Scattered Lights eyeshadows on top here. I didn't include those last year, and that meant I just completely neglected them, which I regret. So this year I'm putting them in just to remember to at least use them once. They were expensive eyeshadows, so I should use them a lot more. But yeah, other than that, it's basically the eyeshadows that I have in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project from Alamar and from Colourpop. And then there are the odd, like I've used 1 of my Colourpop eyeshadows from palettes. Those tend to be neglected in my collection. I don't know why. I just don't really gravitate towards those. And then there are palettes that I haven't used at all, and some that like I have used a little bit, but I haven't used all of the eyeshadows. So the first one that I've actually like finished, no pan left behind in here, is my Huda Beauty Ruby Obsessions. This was my goal for February, to finish this one because it's pink and just kind of fit. And I also have 1 eyeshadow in here that I'm trying to hit pan on. So no, 2 actually. I have 2 eyeshadows in here that are in my 24 eyeshadow pans in 2024. So there are several Huda Beauty palettes. I've used some of them once. My newest palette is the Huda Rose Quartz. I've been using that one a lot because I love getting a new palette and just kind of diving right into it and just testing the formula and just getting to know it. So my goal for March is to finish that one, no pan left behind. And then I have a couple of eyeshadows here and there. If I find a look that I want to do that day, I will just reach into my entire collection, grab whatever, and then the goal is that by the end of the year I will have used all of them, no pan left behind. I don't really focus on like 1 eyeshadow palette at a time. I know a lot of people do that. So the next one that I finished all of them in January, because that was my goal for January, to reach into all the palettes in my MAC Rose Gilded palette. So I did that. That's the only one that's like all purple. And then also, no, 1 more. So my Natasha Denona palette, this is actually, I rearranged mine. So my I Need a Nude palette is not looking the same. Mine looks completely green at the moment, but I did before I rearranged them, I had them like normal, and then I used all of these shades at least once. These are some of my newer palettes, and then I'm missing a few eyeshadows in my Dream palette. I feel like this is more of a fall palette anyway, so I just grabbed for, if there's one of these that I want to use, I will use it, but I don't really like focus on this one. But then I also used all of the shades, and this is my like 2nd newest palette. This is the Retro Glam palette. So I also used all of the shades in here. And then one of my goals for February was to use all of the shades in my Onsai Elva palette. And then I got sick, and there are only 2 shades left in here. I was planning on using them together, but I forgot, and then I didn't do my makeup, and then suddenly we are at finished with February, and I still have these 2 shades up here left to use. But it's, even though that was a goal of mine and I really try to reach those goals that I set for myself, I know that this is only like 1 day, and I'll be able to do it, so I can like do this look for work, and then I will have done it. So it's not really like, that's the thing I really love about this project for me, is that I'm in no rush, because I have 10 months left of the year to do this, so it shouldn't be a problem at all. And then I've also been using the Onsai palette in collaboration with Angelica Nyquist, the Halloween palette. Never remember, I think it's called Little Ghost. The other one is Trick or Treat. I'm using that one quite a bit because I have just felt like using the purples and some of the like peachy, pinky, corally shades in there. And then I got some new eyeshadows from Technic. I will tell you about those a little bit later. And then I talked about my Urban Decay Born to Run palette in my Pandas eyeshadows video, because I just don't feel like using it. So maybe I will at some point during the year, but like right now I have no desire to use that one. And then lastly, it's my What's Up Beauty Geodes palette. So those are all of my eyeshadows. So far this year, here's the like numbers. In January I used 74 eyeshadows. Is this how it's supposed to look? Yeah, 74 out of my 333 eyeshadows. That was a percentage of 22.22%. So that's a pretty like high number for being only 1 month. In February I used 51 eyeshadows, so now I'm at 125 out of 350, which is 35.71%. So that means I will be able to finish the No Pan Left Behind project like probably early summer if I continue at this rate, but I know that there will be weeks and months where I focus more on the Pandas eyeshadow shades, and there are also like in the beginning of the year it's very easy to use more eyeshadows. That was the case for when I started this in August as well. The reason I used 40 eyeshadows in the first like 8 days was because I started at 0. So if I used 4 different eyeshadows in a look, then I could count all 4 or 5, and some of them would be like transition shades or black eyeshadows for liner, inner corner highlight, like everything counted. But when I do my makeup now, I usually use the same inner corner highlight shade, I use the same black eyeshadow as liner, so the only eyeshadows I actually change up most of the time is the shimmers on my lid, and sometimes I use a different crease shade, but usually it's like I use a lot of the same shades and then I will grab for a few new ones here and there. So I think that throughout the year the numbers will drop, but I'm definitely 100% sure that I will get to 100%. But I will need to get creative with all of the yellow eyeshadows and all of the stuff that I'm just not... I don't really look that good in yellow, to be honest. I really tried. But yeah, that's the thing that I was planning on telling you today. I hope this was a little bit interesting. I really encourage everyone to do something like this. Just find a way to track all of your eyeshadows. It could be on a piece of paper, or it could be, I've seen people have like a little note on the palette with like where you can put lines, how many times you've used it, or like all of the shades. There's so many ways to track using your eyeshadows, but actually trying to use all of them has really helped me with not wanting to buy every single new eyeshadow palette, because I know that if I bring in, like when I bought the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz, I knew that that's 18 more eyeshadows that I need to use at least once, and that will take me several days. So that by the end of the year last year, I knew that I can't buy any more palettes because I don't have time. So that really helped with me wanting to buy everything, but I felt like I couldn't, because then I wouldn't be able to reach my goal. Does that make sense? So yeah, it's helped me curb my spending a little bit as well, which is really nice, because I don't really need to spend any more money on makeup. I have more than enough to last me a lifetime, especially eyeshadow. I definitely have enough to last me a lifetime. So that is everything from me today. I hope I said everything that I wanted to say. Like, I know a lot of people who do this project randomize new eyeshadows to focus on, like they randomize 3 eyeshadow palettes and those are the focus palettes until they pan on everything. I don't really do that, but I forgot to mention what I actually do, because the thing is I want to have like focused eyeshadow palettes, but I don't want to randomize them. So the reason I don't want to randomize palettes is I don't really have that many palettes to randomize either, and then I also don't want to get a spring palette in November and like all of the pastel colors in the winter, and then I will have all of the more like fall grungy colors in June. So I've decided on focus palettes for each month. So in January I had the MAC Rose Gilded palette and the I Need a Nude palette from Natasha Denona, and I did both of those. In February I had Retro Glam and Huda Ruby, and also the Onsai Alba palette that I didn't actually finish, but I have only 2 shades left. In March my plan is to do Too Faced Pineapple. I forgot that I decided on doing that one, okay. And then the Huda Emerald palette and Huda Rose Quartz, so I will finish like using all of those shades at least once. And then in April I have Little Ghost from Onsai, and then the Garden of Juvia's palette, which is a very like spring pastel palette. And then in May I have written down What's Up Geodes and Huda Beauty Nude Light. In June I will use my Lethal eyeshadows and Huda Topaz, as well as the Almar Reina del Caribe palette. In July I will do my Colourpop singles and the Colourpop California Love palette, and in August I will do Colourpop Lush Life palette and Juvia's Sulu palette. Then in September I have my MAC eyeshadows. In October I put in my Natasha Denona My Dream and the Melt Smoke Sessions. I feel like that's perfect for fall. And then in November I put my Urban Decay Born to Run, and in December my Huda Beauty Rose Gold and the Friendcation palette from the Friendcation palette. You know which palette I'm talking about. I don't remember the brand at the moment. Those are colors. So this also fits with when I'm trying to hit pan on certain eyeshadows and stuff like that. So I have a plan, but I'm not gonna like be super strict about it. Like at some point I will reach my 100%, and that will feel really good, because then I know that I've actually given all of my eyeshadows just a little bit of love, and that is a good feeling. So yeah, I really encourage everyone to do something like this, and if you don't want to do it, that's also nice. I know. So I'll hopefully see you guys later. I hope you'll subscribe and stick around to see my other videos, and that's everything from me. Bye!